You can follow along with daily updates and coverage on 1010XL as the Gators begin their march toward kickoff. It's 92 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
I know for most people, they don't get to get out to training camp practices. I understand. A, it's limited capacity. B, a lot of people have to work.
Yeah.
But I will say, Taylor, for our first 3 days, it's been gorgeous weather.
Yeah. Not bad at all. And that's what we were all dreading. Honestly, the week before, I was like, oh, man, how are we going to do it? It's so hot outside. But it's been kind of nice, honestly. A little breeze. The cloud coverage helps. Obviously, when the sun's not directly on you, it's nice. And I know that the fans probably feel even better up there because there is some movement but with the fans and getting a little bit of breeze up there. They always are in that shade, so they probably feel great right now. But yeah, we've gotten pretty lucky for the first week that it hasn't been a scorcher because there were ones last year, and granted, we have a lot of camp left, so I'm sure some will hit us at some point, but so far it's been great.
It has been great, and yesterday we got to start off inside, which was nice as far as the media is concerned. I'm sure the players too, because there was lightning within 8 miles of the area. But the fun part about being inside is you get to actually listen to what the players are saying.
Yeah.
So when they trash talk each other, you can actually hear it because they don't have the loud music on when you're indoors.
Yeah.
Obviously, they do when you're outside. And I think they do want to block some of that, right? Some of the things that the coaches are saying, they don't necessarily want us to hear. So yesterday, Jordan Lewis had a great pass breakup against Parker Washington. And we could hear every word. I cannot repeat it, but we could hear every word that Jordan Lewis said to Parker. And Parker just smiled. And then Parker ended up having a couple really good catches after that.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of like really inside stuff that I love. Tom and I were also standing next to the linebackers as they were doing this one drill. And I was like, I feel like Tom wants to just jump in line right now. Wearing flip-flops isn't going to help you with the drill. But yeah, yesterday was I would say another good day or maybe not another. Yesterday was the first day that the offense looked a little bit better. And granted, the defense knows what the offense is doing, right? They practice against each other. But yesterday and today, I thought the offense had some really good reps. And that's good to see. You want to see your quarterback settle in. And Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, you want to see all of them make impressive catches. You want to see the young guys do it, which they're certainly doing it too. And there's been an emphasis, I think, on those rookie tight ends really getting a lot of action. And so I feel like the last 2 days, it's like the offense saw the sloppiness on Wednesday and they said, okay, we need to get back into our rhythm.
Up a little bit.
Where we were really good last year.
Yeah, and I think that your expectation when it comes to the offense is high here, obviously, especially you coming off of the way the season ended. There's things that you felt like would kind of just go right into it.
Sure.
And, you know, Trevor Lawrence and Liam Coen have had the conversations of how much they were having to think about everything last year. And now it's like, let's just go play football and run this offense. And so there was that little, those couple practices in the beginning where it was like, okay, well, it's a little slow, but it did feel like today, just as we'd expect, the ball's getting out to a lot of different weapons. You talk about the two young wide receivers. We've seen a ton from both of them when it comes to Josh Cameron and CJ Williams. Both of them are hauling in everything that's coming towards them. You saw BT get the ball today. You saw Parker. You saw, to your point, both young tight ends. And so there was a lot of running drills and stuff today, which Liam talked about that on the drill, about that's going to be an emphasis. Maybe you're not going to see as many balls in the air right now because they want to fix that run game. You shouldn't be surprised by that. That's one of the things he talked about was the stink that they wanted to fix. So that's something that he wants to, I'm sure, lean into. We saw a couple successful screen passes today, which were great because that was something last year that he had to pivot from mid-season when it wasn't working. And that is a big part of Liam Cohen's offenses. That was a huge part at the Bucs of how they were so successful. So you want to be able to see those things work. And I think that this is the very beginning of all of this right now. Obviously, there's a ton to see, but I do think the expectations of how much the ball is going to be spread around and how many weapons you truly have on this offense is showing early in camp.
And I think the secondary looks good too. And that's exciting to see because we've had so many conversations about what that's going to look like. By the way, Tom McManus has today off. Yesterday was his birthday. Of course, we wished him happy birthday. Yeah. And then he's going to spend the weekend with family. I'm sure he'll be back out Sunday morning. And then, of course, when the pads go on Monday, every single media member that can possibly get there on Monday
it'll be packed out there on Monday.
Yeah. But seeing Jarian Jones get 2 interceptions today and some other pass breakups, you can feel like his energy, his enthusiasm, and he's vying for a starting job, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that we've seen Travis Hunter play as many snaps as he has defensively, but also, I mean, immediately,
the offense,
take off the white defensive jersey and in the teal jersey and run routes and look great there too. It's like, okay, maybe, and we're going to rethink this, of course, like a million times. We're having a million conversations about it. Maybe Travis Hunter isn't going to be primarily a cornerback and then splash in wide receiver plays like a lot of national media people had said. Maybe he's truly going to play a lot of snaps defensively and a lot of snaps at wide receiver, but not necessarily be a starting corner or a starting wide receiver, but get a ton of reps at
on
both
each side,
and a ton of snaps at both. Yeah, so that's going to be the interesting part. And we'll obviously continue to monitor it, but it was cool to hear from him after practice today as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point in the sense of they've told us there's not going to be X amount of snaps for Travis at, okay, this game we're going in and at corner he's going to have X amount. Like, it's not going to go that way. Obviously, every game's going to be a little different. The way games go might be a little different. You head into a game with a certain plan, and then by halftime, if you're up 2 touchdowns or you're down a touchdown, you pivot from that. I think the positive thing offensively, we've talked so much of, you don't need him over there because you do feel like you want him because he's explosive and fun and obviously we saw what he could do after the catch last year, and you want that, but you don't need that, and that's a good boat to be in, I think. But then on the other side,
it's a boat with 3 motors is what that is.
That is.
One motor goes down, you're still good.
Yes, we're good to go. And then on the other side, now you are seeing the secondary look good. And if you are confident, which I am, I love Jarian Jones. Jarian is honestly one of my favorite players on this team because he just brings this extra energy too that I love from him. But you are confident in Jarian and Buster and Jordan. So it's not like you even really need him out there. Do you want him? Again, yes, because he has the potential to be the best corner on the field. But
and throw in Jabbar Muhammad, he's
had a really good camp. And so I do think that takes a lot of pressure off because you don't have to force him into anything. You can really just let Travis be Travis, and that's a positive thing. If you needed another wide receiver, you really needed a corner, that shifts your perspective and how you have to approach it. But right now you just get to have fun and use Travis Hunter.
And he really is a unicorn. We've never seen this before at any Jaguars practice in all the years that we've all been going to them. And he's just such a guy that I feel like loves every single second of it, right? Like, there are some guys that they love once the team drills start, right? Those individual drills kind of get laborious. You're doing the same thing every single day over and over again. Like, how many different things can you show there, right? But once team starts, like, okay, this is more like a game. Let's go. I literally think Travis is bouncing around for everything he gets to do.
He's dancing, he's smiling, he's like joking.
And obviously, like he talked about too, 9 months away from all of this. And I love too, he talked about his other defensive backs tease him as soon as he puts the wide receiver jersey on.
Like, traitor.
Yeah, exactly. He takes the one off. Yeah. I love that stuff though. And you know how much fun that this group has because, like you talked about, the expectations are there. This is no longer a team that's hoping to win maybe 7-8 games and call that an improvement and be trending towards the right direction.
No.
This is
you're looking at double-digit wins, or you're not happy.
Right, absolutely. If you regress and only have a 9-8 record, even though it's a winning record, that's not good enough for this coaching staff. Even if you were to win the division at 9-8, I still think they would feel like that's a step back, even though it is a difficult schedule. But shout out to the fans once again. Today was the season ticket members. I feel like they provide that extra juice too. And
they were having a blast out there.
It helps the team. I think we've seen a lot of urgency, and that I love. The intensity, the urgency is there. You don't normally see that right early in training camp. You see it more, once the pads go on or joint practices. But one thing that I thought was cool too, I mentioned they were indoors for the beginning of yesterday's practice. I wondered, once the skies cleared, would they continue because they already were all set up inside, or would they go back outside? Assuming they would go back outside, but how quickly could they transition? Because again, they're right in the middle of doing a lot of different things. They literally heard that they were going back outside. And I didn't clock it exactly, but I would say it was less than 30 seconds from the time they were inside to back outside doing the exact same thing and practicing again. And I was like, they've literally practiced this. Like, they have talked about going from outside to inside and going from inside to outside. And it's just those little details that could potentially get you to be a championship team.
Yeah, and because that is kind of all a package deal of how dysfunctional it looked at certain periods last year, and not to obviously it panned out. There was just a lot
when
of
I hear
figuring
out. I think of Urban Meyer.
It was not that dysfunctional, but more so you could tell it was everything ran a little bit slower. It felt like there was a lot of conversations. The amount of times that Liam was having to come out, and whether it was talking to Trevor, a wide receiver, or an offensive lineman, and kind of re-explain something. You haven't seen a lot of that. He's constantly coaching. You see him have those conversations, but it doesn't feel like he's having to go out and be like, stand there, line up here. This is what we need to do. It's not that instructional. It's more so like, okay, watch your footwork. That's always the coaching part's going to be a part of it. But I do think that it's flowing so much better. And a lot of that is it's year 2 under Liam Coen. So there's going to be a sense of comfortability there, especially for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it did feel like last year they're standing in the huddle a while and then you'd see them line up and then they'd go back and be like, hold on, wait, what were we supposed to be doing? You're not seeing any of that now, which is great. And that's what you'd also hope in year 2. If they were still having some of those issues right now, we might be a little concerned.
We'd have to go back to one of those boring practices with alignment and assignment. Yeah, I did see the offense get called for a penalty today, a pre-snap penalty, and I could see Liam be really frustrated. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's only the first one that I've seen.
Last year there was like 14 by now.
Yeah, there was another one where it looked like it could have been the offense or the defense, and Liam's pointing at the defense like it was on them, and I'm like, that's the offensive coordinator in him. That's the play caller in him. Like, still always going to be the offensive guy over the defensive guy.
Well, there was a couple defensive pass interferences, and he was fired up about those. He was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah." Josh Cameron actually drew a couple of those. Yeah, that was excellent to see. Yeah, I just think the overall feeling from being out there, and I love that Liam talked about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's don't let anyone get hurt.
Yeah,
especially when you're in the first day and one of the very first snaps or reps in the team drills, and you see Jack Kaiser go down, and you don't know what it is, obviously, until the next day, and then you find out it's not that bad. And he wasn't screaming like Liam said, but still, you see a guy go down, he's on the ground for about a minute.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that pit in your stomach is like, we can't have this at different position groups when we're not even blocking and tackling yet, right?
Not even to that point.
Yeah, so I love that he talked about good teams stay off the ground.
Yeah.
Bad teams are on the ground a lot more this time of year.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, you're seeing it around the league already. Brazel and Pearsall looking like they're, well, Brazel for sure going to miss the season, and they're saying that it looks like Ricky Pearsall may too. That's not what you want after you're 3 days into camp and you're already having those type of issues. You
Nick
can't.
Scorton too.
Scorton, yep. Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's so unfortunate. You're out there, you get a day or two, and the next thing you know, your season's done already. And we've had that happen here before with, other guys. Etienne's was a little bit later, obviously, but it was the whole season. Ransaw last year got through most of camp, but then didn't get to play the whole season. And so those are the last things that you want in injuries. Some of them are unpredictable. Tom talks about that all the time, about the non-contact and just, I mean, Travis Hunter's was a non-contact when he got hurt, and so those are somewhat unavoidable at that certain time. But I do think that Liam Coen, to his point, being able to protect them as much as possible, you want to go in as healthy as you can week 1. That's the goal.
Take care of one another, and it sounds like no one's really going to play, and that the starters will not play at all in the preseason games. So those joint practices when they will get all that work in. All right, so we got to talk some quarterback when we return, because Liam Coen joined the drill yesterday morning down at the Mill Electric Center, and some of his comments about just the national media have been taken in a different direction when it comes to quarterback. So we will get to that on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's a tasty beverage for the ears.
Things are just getting better by the second.
1010XL. From the Tom Bush family of dealership studios.
Helmets and Heels.
If you can hear that sound, you probably already know why we're here. That's a roof leak. Congratulations, you now have an indoor water feature. At Endless Summer Roofing, we specialize in removing water features from places they shouldn't be, like your living room, your bedroom, your other room. We use quality materials, show up when we say we will, and won't suggest duct tape as a long-term solution. Radical, I know. EndlessSummerRoofing.com. Your ceiling will thank you, eventually.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates.
Friday.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Hey, I'm Matt Lennon with AB Signs. If you own a business but your vehicle, your storefront, or job sites aren't promoting that name, who's getting your next customer? At AB Signs, we'll help your business stand out with custom vehicle graphics, signs, banners, and decals. Whether you're starting new or upgrading your image, we'll make sure your business gets noticed. Before you order from an online merchant, call local. Call Matt at AB Signs, and let's put your business to work.
And Every day is game day on Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony break it down from every angle. Roster moves, matchups, league trends, and the pulse of Duval. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Hey, Tom McManus here. I know how awful it is to get injured out there, but never due to someone else's negligence like many of you. If this speaks to you directly, you got to check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the land. Over $30 billion recovered for all their clients. All they do is win, and win some more. But guess what? They don't get a single dime unless you do. A proven track record with backup. I know it's hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. Dial pound law on your cell or check out forthepeople.com.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Peaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Peaches Dermatology a call online at peachesdermatology.com.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trust Line Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all the top real estate agents and builders who refer us business every day. Thinking about buying or building a new home? At Trust Line Mortgage, we're here to make the mortgage process simple, clear, and stress-free. That's why First Coast residents have trusted us for more than 37 years. Since 1989, Trust Line Mortgage has been your local mortgage company dedicated to personal service. Real people, real conversations, and real solutions. Whether you're looking for a conventional, VA, FHA, or construction loan, Trust Line Mortgage brings over 4 decades of experience to help you. And did I mention we offer the most competitive jumbo rates in Florida? If you're ready to buy, build, refinance, or simply explore your options, call Trust Line Mortgage today at 904-381-LOAN or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trust Line Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS 246445.
This August, experience David Bowie like never before with the Jacksonville Rock Orchestra at Florida Theater. Hear the unforgettable songs that made David Bowie a legend. A 27-piece symphony orchestra joined by a full rock band changes the music of David Bowie. Saturday, August 8th at Florida Theater. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
McManus has the day off. Taylor Dahl is here. RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Got a couple of questions before we get to this Liam Coen cut. Basically, one from a friend of ours named Kathy. She says, can you talk about why Trevor and the ones work so much against the defense and the twos? In other words, we're seeing the ones on offense versus the twos on defense and then vice versa. They did this last year, too. Yeah. I'm sure there's a method behind the madness, and I would imagine that on Monday when the pads go on, we'll see ones v ones.
Yeah, more of that at least.
Yeah, on offense and defense and twos v twos. But yeah, this is the same plan that they had last year. And so certain players you're going to see, like a Trayvon Walker, just manhandling the people, or the Josh Hines Allen manhandling the offensive linemen that they're going against, which another comment, I know XL Primetime went into it very deeply as far as the offensive line cross-training and things like that. That's what they did last year. Yeah. I'm not surprised in the least that they're going to mix it up a little bit. And being able to watch Cole Van Lanen today was also really cool. Got to see him yesterday indoors and then today working on the sidelines along with Chris Rodriguez too. But CVL looks pretty good. But yeah, it was the same plan that they did last year in as far as ones versus twos to start. And then I'm sure, like I said, they'll mix it up.
Yeah, they definitely like to, and I mean, the importance of it, you saw this last year. Once the injuries start to come in, you want to be able to see what guys can handle going up against it. Yeah, and so I think that's part of it. You want to see how deep this roster actually is at points. So if you're having those twos and threes go against, the ones and twos, I think sometimes you get to truly evaluate rather than just saying, okay, if you're going 2v2 or 3v3, then you're like, okay, well, how good, which side is actually good? It's harder to evaluate that a little bit. We also saw last year, they do, between the offensive line, you saw a lot of it in the linebacker and the cornerback and safeties last year, a lot of rotation of just putting guys out there and trying to figure out, I think, just the best combinations and what works, and you want the best players out there. So they do it They at times I think a little different, but there's definitely an approach to it that I think Liam Coen just likes to kind of see everything, and that's the type of coach he is. We talk about building the raising the floor was the whole thing last year, and that doesn't stop. All of a sudden this year you're having the same conversations. How deep is this roster actually? And every team unfortunately deals with injuries. You're hoping it's not to the extreme that you see some other teams, or even at points last year when it was Lloyd and hurt and Strange hurt, and you're dealing with some of that stuff, and then Travis gets hurt, and so you hope that doesn't happen, but if it is, you've got to be prepared.
Yeah, you'd like for the injuries to be just nicks here and there, and maybe a guy has to miss a game or two, but you'd like for it not to be for much longer than that. You would like to have
multiple games or season,
season-ending injuries. If you could avoid that entirely, that would be a dream come true. All right, from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Gotta know, did Taylor Dahl take offense to Liam's comments about Caleb? So let's set up the clip. Yesterday, obviously, Liam joined the drill, Dan and Jeff, and Jeff asked him basically like, the Jaguars aren't getting the national respect. You look at all these top 10s, you're barely going to find Jaguars in them. And so how do you feel about that? And here's the head coach.
It's the best part of coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. You don't have to make up telling your players stuff.
Yeah,
you don't have to make up the fire. You don't have to make it up. It's given to us every day. Yeah. And it's like a welcome. It's a gift from the heavens. From you just scroll. I just go pull up my phone, look at the NFL Network website, and just pop up here. And
any column.
Curious if I see any photos or anything about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think I'll just scroll right on through.
You keep going. Yeah.
I think I'll see 40 pictures of Caleb Williams, and I won't see a single thing about any of our players on here. And so it's beautiful because it's like, yeah, guys, this is great. Thanks.
The gift that keeps on giving.
I'm going to tell all these guys how much you all think they suck.
And that is the funny part about it, because if you go to NFL.com right now, I don't ever look on my phone. I always look on my laptop. I did it earlier today, just a quick scroll. No, I didn't see 40 pictures of Caleb Williams, but I didn't see a single thing about the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's his point.
Yeah.
The fact that he mentioned Caleb Williams, I was told that as he looked at his phone, he saw multiple pictures of Caleb Williams. That's the reason that he mentioned him.
Caleb wasn't on there. He was lying. I looked the moment that interview came out. He was on there one time, but I don't think that was the point. I think it was more so like, we're not on here. And Caleb has been talked about a lot. Obviously, he was he was higher than Trevor on the NFL Top 100 voted by the players. He made the top 10 from the coach executive scouts that voted the quarterbacks. He's on the cover of Madden. Those are all being talked about in the same conversation. But the Bears aren't going to win the division. It's going to be the Packers or the Lions, and they're going to have a regression. They're going to regress because the defense got a bunch of takeaways, but they couldn't do anything else, and they don't have DJ Moore. That's honestly the conversation around it. It's like Caleb's being talked about very in a very good light, but the rest of the team isn't getting as much love in the sense. So I think I live in a unique world, obviously, where I watch every presser of both coach and all the quarterbacks and all, the players. And so not everybody does that on both sides. So I can see the personalities I know better. And that's the thing. Like I watched that of Liam and I wasn't like, oh my gosh, why is he crapping on Caleb Williams? I didn't take it that way at all. I just was more so we know that's how he likes to fuel his teams. He said it last year. They're better. They play better mad. That's what it is. He likes to give them this fuel to fire, this energy for them. And if that's something that works for Liam and for the team, that's great. If you have to say that, you throw Caleb. But then on the Bears side of things, Bears fans, that's their quarterback. And the Bears have never had a 30 touchdown quarterback or a 4,000 yard passer. And this is the first time that they've really been able to be super hype about a quarterback. And they're like, we've got his back. And you talk about our quarterback, we're going to, get upset.
He didn't say anything negative about Caleb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was just kind of like a facetious comment, like, oh, we see Caleb 40 times.
Yeah.
That's how I think they took it that way. Like, why didn't you list anybody else? That was actually on NFL.com yesterday. It was multiple Rams pictures and Baker Mayfield and all of those guys. And so that's their mindset. And like I said, I see both sides of it because I live in both worlds a lot. I think that if it was opposite, Jags fans would be just as mad. If Ben Johnson and some random comment threw Trevor's name out there and some oh yeah, well, Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville, he's getting talked about this way, the people would be like, why are you talking about our quarterback? Why are you just throwing his name out there when it wasn't anything being said or talked about with that. But I think
I'd be like, I'm glad that he acknowledges my quarterback is good. That's how
But he
I
didn't.
would take
He wasn't saying Caleb was good. He was just saying everybody's talking about Caleb, but they don't want to talk about us. So like they were Bears fans are taking it of like it was almost like a facetious comment. Like, okay, there's a lot of Caleb, but we're good. Like we don't suck. And so that's how it was taken.
I think
there.
that's a little personal because he didn't say anything negative. You know what I mean? It's not like he was like,
well, and Bears fans aren't saying he
Caleb
some like sports mockery. The way they posted it was like take a shot at Caleb Williams. So
right, it wasn't
some
that
of
at
it
all.
is headlines do it wrong also.
Sure.
And like the people that I know are more so like, why are you talking about him? Like he has nothing to do with anything you're doing is more so the conversation. But I think that I see both worlds. I don't think Liam said anything bad. I don't think he was insulting Caleb. Caleb also reposted the video. So all of a sudden fans are going to, and that's how Caleb is. Caleb's a troll. I know he goes on and searches his name and looks for stuff. That's how he is.
Well, and we did a great job by posting that clip because if 1010 doesn't post that clip of the video, NFL Network and Good Morning Football don't
aren't
find
getting
it.
that.
They would never have listened to that full interview, right? Like they're just going to listen to press conferences. So it's because 1010's multimedia recognized Jacob was like, hey, this is going to do well on social, and it did, and it's created conversation, which is a good thing. I just was surprised that people were upset.
Turned so like, negative. Yeah.
But maybe had Liam not said any name, like we're not on there. I see 40 pictures of other teams.
Yeah.
Then
or
it never
multiple
goes viral.
names.
Sure.
If he was like, you see all these pictures of Caleb Williams and Drake May and this person, and like then it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. But you not drop one person's name and talk about 40 pictures on it. It almost just felt like a little jab for like in Chicago's point of view, even though I really don't think it was. I also, Ben Johnson talked about it today too. And he was like, look, we have our own stuff that we have to work through. Everybody's talking about we're going to regress and it's not going to be the same. Like we've got to focus on that. So we have our own internal motivations too. Like we're not worried about that. And pretty much saying like every coach and every team has their own internal motivators. And that's however that looks is what it is. So he talked about it for 2 seconds and moved on. So it'll be done in a couple days. But then obviously in December when they play, this is probably going to be talked about on the broadcast and brought back up. Both of these coaches have a history of interesting handshakes after the game, so we'll see how all of that kind of goes into all the storylines. But
and the whole Trevor Caleb after the game too will be in the spotlight just because of all this, even though, and I don't know Caleb's personality like you do, obviously, but Trevor couldn't be a classier human being. So there's no chance that Trevor Lawrence at in any moment ever wanted it to become a Trevor versus Caleb. No. That's not, he's much more of a team first. Yeah. Like he's a quiet leader. I mean, I'm sure he's vociferous in the locker room, but he's not the rah-rah type of person, right? And so I guarantee you he's like, how did I get
why am I getting pulled into
of this? I'm just trying to play quarterback and play half another good season and play well for an entire season.
Yeah. And that's why I'm sure, I mean, Caleb, he'll retweet his TikTok. If you go to his TikTok, you can see like what people repost, and his reposts are all people talking bad about him. Like that's just what he does. So it's the announcers being like, he can't play in structure and he can't do this and da-da-da. And he just reposts all that stuff. And that's what motivates him internally. And so he leans into that stuff. But he also is a very team first type of quarterback too. Like every single practice, they'll be like, oh man, that throw. And he'll be like, Rome did all the work. Like that was all on Rome. He did, like, he's that type of quarterback too. And I think that he's had moments. Him and CJ Stroud kind of had an interesting encounter after their game, and that led to other things when it was kind of like he tried to big bro him or whatever. But other than that, like you've never seen anything. And so I'm sure both these quarterbacks are probably kind of like, what are we doing? Like, why is this a big deal right now?
Hey, training camp has begun. You guys are supposed to be talking about X's and O's.
The actual
We're not allowed to talk about that, but about the actual football and what's going on. And instead, it's one comment. And see, it's interesting because we know Liam is a very intelligent person and he's a very articulate speaker. So on the one hand, I thought, well, I wonder if now looking back, he's like, oh, I should have just said there's 40 pictures of other quarterbacks
players,
and
but
just
no
not,
Jaguars.
That I wonder, but I'm also like, he's really smart. So maybe there was something behind that specific thing just because he feels like his quarterback is ascending and more people are talking about other quarterbacks, including like a Caleb Williams is how maybe that's what we won't know. He is very intentional in things he does. And so that's why I think I know that. I don't know how much other casual,
Bears fans who don't watch a ton of Jaguars, how much they know Liam Cohen's personality. You probably get the glimpses throughout the year when it was the Robert Saleh thing, and maybe the Duval I'm seeing a lot of comments with that.
Sure.
But I think my first thought, honestly, was like, can I just have fun? Like, this is the first time since 2005, 2005 was the last time both teams made the playoffs at the same time, the Jags and the Bears. So it's been 21 years since I've been able to like watch two really good coaches and I'm not trying to have this beef. I'm trying to have a good time and enjoy two good football teams.
Well, from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 904-641-1010 if y'all want to jump in on the action. Bears fans need to stop crying about something that doesn't matter. I don't read Bears Twitter, so I have no idea if people are crying. I just know that this whole thing went viral because Bears fans jumped into it. So again, I don't know that it's necessarily Bears fans crying. I think they're more, like you said, probably just trying to defend their guy.
That's our QB. You defend your players.
Yeah,
that's what you
just
do.
Like let our team be our team. Let your team be your team.
Yeah. Brett Coleman tweeted and he said, "Oh baby, we got a nobody believes in us off." Like talking about Liam and Ben. Like nobody believes in us, and I'm like, just go play football.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we're talking about a head coach who's literally just trying to find, like we said, some motivation for his team. He mentions Caleb Williams, and that's why the other fan base got involved. But really what it was more about, and I truly believe he's right in this, Liam Coen is, there's not national respect around this team right now, and it's probably not coming.
Yeah.
And
see, and like that's what's interesting too, is because there were several players like on the NFL top 100, on honorable mentions, on all of those lists. Maybe they weren't in the top 10, but they were all talked about of like, okay, you see another season of this person, of Trayvon, of Josh Hines Allen, of Brenton
the Texans
Strange.
are being picked to win the division everywhere you look.
Well, they won a playoff game.
They did, but the Jags won the division last year.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And then lost. So it's like that's what's recent, and that's what people are going to do, unfortunately, because I do think, and I think the Texans defense is so good. That's what's in the forefront of like national
and the Jags
media's
offense
mind.
is really good.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Liam's trying to defend his people too.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, they'll play each other December 6th, right? That's the date. So it'll be settled on the field between these two fan bases who are all riled up at the end of July. All right, we've got more to do on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies. The Tom Bush family of dealership studio on Helmets and Heels.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
Helmets and Heels Friday
is brightened by Bowden Iron Associates.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Follow Houston's Meats on social for updated weekly specials.
Lauren Brooks here. If you're like most of us at 1010XL, you still have a list of things you want to get done around your house and yard before football season begins. Do yourself a favor and make an appointment today to check out Closets by Design's new showroom on Phillips Highway, especially the incredible garage. Closets by Design can help turn any garage into a custom organized space designed around your lifestyle and budget. Call 904-878-9393 to schedule your free in-home design consultation and get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and free installation. Or online, closetsbydesign.com.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here. Don't wait for the first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems when high winds come around. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to backyards. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Today's vehicles are smarter than ever, but that also means they need more precision than ever. Features like lane assist, collision warning, and adaptive cruise control all rely on cameras, sensors, part of what's called ADAS. And if those systems are even slightly off, they might not work correctly. That's why, after certain repairs, your vehicle will need ADAS calibration. At G&H Tires and Service, they have the ADAS system, so your vehicle's safety features work the way they're supposed to. Don't guess with your safety. G&H Tires and Service. Precision that protects.
Hunting season in Northeast Florida is just around the corner, and Green Acres Sporting Goods has been serving Jacksonville hunters for over 55 years. And right now, you can lock in a summer deal on an AR-style 12-gauge shotgun for just $299. And while you're there, check out the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida and test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews. Shop today at Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Has today off. He'll be back with us on Monday. Taylor Dollars here. RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you from the text line Design My Lifetime Enclosures. Oh, wait, I'm not going to read them all. There's too many. There's a lot of drama going on between Chicago and Jacksonville. Apparently, I really had no idea it was ever going to get to this point after listening to that interview yesterday. I was more laughing at how Liam was like, I went on vacation and I came back and I only weighed 203 pounds. I'm a skeleton right now. I'm like, must be nice. The rest of us, when we go on vacation, we
Don't
not
come back smaller.
And say, oh, this is the least I've ever weighed. That is not what happens to the normal population. But Taylor, I told you earlier at practice that I had a story for you, but I was going to save it for when we did the show. So, and it ended up working out. I didn't realize at the time, but Tanner Koziol was going to join Jaguars today, this morning, before I told you that, or I didn't know that when I told you I had a story for you. So yesterday after practice, Tom and I are standing and we're in like the area near the press conference, but far enough away that we could have a conversation and they, wouldn't get mad at us.
Yeah.
Right. Because obviously when reporters are trying to listen to the answers from the coaches and the players. And so this woman comes up and she's like, hi, I'm Tanner Koziol's mom and I listen to you guys and I just love you guys' show and everything. And we're like, oh, thanks so much. And she was like, but I have to tell you something. I need to set the record straight. Tanner Koziol is not just a pass catching tight end. He's really good at blocking too. Why else could he play 80 snaps a game if he's only pass catching, right? And so I was like, all right. And then she was like, how can I listen to you guys from Chicago? So I let her know and all that. So hopefully she's now watching the show on YouTube every day.
I love that.
But I thought that was so fantastic. And so then today when I heard that Tanner was going to join Jaguars today, I texted Dempsey that information. And so Dempsey's first question to Tanner was, are you a better, well-rounded tight end than you're given credit for?
I think the amount of preparation that's going into and knowing all the details of the run game are what's helping the most. Just in terms of walking through in the morning and overstudying my notes and just making sure I know the details and landmarks. I've never been so detailed on my job in the run game, and I think I can only get better. I think naturally catching 90, 70 balls in a season in college, they're going to look at you as a pass catcher, and obviously I have my strengths, but I think making that a strong part of my game, and with my length, I think I could get to being dominant. And as I continue to just be a part of the strength staff and work with them and put on weight and put on true muscle, I think I could do it all very well eventually.
So, yeah, I think there's that narrative that comes with Borkacher that he's just the blocking tight end, and Koziol, he's just the pass-catching tight end. That's not what this staff wants in tight ends. They don't want one guy that can only do one thing and one guy that can do the other, because then that's going to tell the
Be
defense,
very obvious. Yeah.
yes, what you're planning to do. And so they want guys that are well-versed and well-rounded. And so I loved Koziel's answer. And you could tell listening to that interview today, great job by Mike and Tony and the Jaguars PR staff for bringing Coziel over, that he is a very studious football player. And we know that this regime loves guys that love the game, and they also want guys that really understand the playbook. I'm excited for what Koziel and Burkhardt can do as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And to your point, that's what this regime in the moves that they've made in these 2 seasons have been very, very obvious when it comes to the versatility and having guys that do a lot of different things, whether that's playing multiple positions, whether that's being a blocking and pass catching tight end. And you talk about running backs being able to also catch the ball. That's a big part of what they want on their offenses. And so that is something they lean into. They want guys that can do a little bit of everything and aren't afraid to maybe move around and try different positions. And we see it on the offensive line today. We were just talking about how much movement there is there. And so I do think that they're very strategic when it comes to the draft. And everyone gave the Jags a hard time, obviously, because of the Burkhardt thing originally. But I think there's a lot of thought process that went into that of what type of player fits this exact offense. And Liam Coen knows that. And I'm sure him and James Gladstone have had countless conversations about what type of player. We talk about the human side of things. We know what type of human they want. But
Jaguars
the football
DNA.
player, but the football player side of it, you can tell the guys that they brought in these 2 seasons, whether that's through free agency or through the draft or even like a Jacoby Myers midseason, all very, very fitting to everything they want. And I think there's a plan for everything. Yeah.
I mean, we could go through and talk about Cole Van Linen played 4 different positions last year. You've got Patrick McCary, who can virtually play everywhere along the line. A Wyatt Milam and an Emmanuel Pregnon, we haven't fully seen what they can do, obviously, yet. But I would imagine...
They talk about that they can.
Yeah, I would imagine that Pregnon could, if he had needed to play center, probably could, and then could easily play left and right guard. And then, Milam could play the 2 guard positions and the tackle positions. That's just the offensive line. That's before I get to tight ends and even the DBs that can play inside, outside the defensive line. Trayvon took a couple snaps inside today. And so, yes, they definitely praise versatility, and they favor that because they know that they don't want to dictate to the defense, but they also know that sometimes injuries happen and you will be, up a creek without a paddle if you are having guys that can only do one thing. I mean, Parker Washington can virtually play
all over the place.
Yeah,
he's a Swiss Army knife.
Go. He absolutely is. Speaking of a versatile player, Travis Hunter met with media today after practice, and we knew that he was running at a very fast clip, that 22.6 miles per hour, but also the fact that he's put on muscle and running that fast. Here's Travis on that.
I put on 10 pounds. I was a small guy coming in. Everybody like, gain weight, gain weight. Coach is like, hey, play at whatever weight you happy at. So me just coming in and putting on them pounds and, man, like, I was scared at first. I'm like, dang, I ain't never played this weight. I'm going to feel heavy. I'm not going to be able to do what I do. But training and being able to put those months in, not just on the grass, but in the weight room too, just putting in that work, it made me feel lighter on my feet when I finally touched the grass. So I'm just happy to be at this weight and continue to play at this weight.
And he went on to say he wants to hit 23 miles per hour. I mean, why not have that as a goal?
Have a better, and then that will move. It'll be like, okay, well, now I need to hit 24. It's so fun to see him out there. I mean, we talked about how much fun he has, but I do think this is a player, when you trade up and you draft a guy like Travis Hunter, there's all these expectations. And anytime anybody in the top 10, usually there's these extra expectations when you draft them that high. But the movement and how much you gave for him, and then just the side of he plays both sides of the ball, and there's all of these things that it's like this little weapon that you have so many possibilities with. And I don't even think we've scratched the surface of what you can actually do with a Travis Hunter. And I think so. It's really fun to see him back out there. And we talked about the movement. Like, we were seeing him run, and that was great. The conversation after that was like, can you make the cuts? Can you get up? We saw him get up in the air and catch the pass the other day. And he
didn't catch it.
He didn't. Yeah. He brought it down, didn't come all the way down with it, but got up in the air quite a bit. And those are the moments when you're like, man, this guy can be so much fun to watch. And there's just endless possibilities of what Travis Hunter on this team looks like. And I think that should be really exciting for anyone here in Jacksonville, but also around the league. This type of play, you don't get to see this. Right. And so it's something just different.
And the coaches have to take such detail into how many plays he's playing, right? And like immediately tell him, okay, go over there, get your jersey. But he seems to already kind of know too, which is impressive. Yeah, everyone thought that he caught that ball at first because it looked like this spectacular catch. But I looked immediately and the defense started cheering. This was at the first practice, and I was like, dang it. That means he didn't catch it. But
I saw it come out like last second. And so I thought it was Jabbar Muhammad, but on the interview, Liam said it was Husky.
He did, yeah. And I think James Gladstone also said maybe Jalen Husky. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I guess we maybe got the numbers or maybe Jabbar
There's a few guys over there too. Yeah.
And it's hard when they're on that opposite side of the field. And we don't necessarily have a replay, although sometimes you can look at the video board to see. But yeah, look, I think Travis Hunter is special. That's why they drafted him. And he looks fantastic. He had what I thought was a touchdown today, but I think he was just out of bounds, and Corey Ballantyne was in coverage.
Great catch, though.
But great catch, yeah. And so it's just refreshing that here's a guy that we worried so much about once they gave up that draft capital that they did to get him. If it doesn't play out in year one, everyone's going to say,
what are we going to do?
Correct, that the Jaguars failed, and especially once he had the injury. But I think even without the injury, if he didn't have 100 yards every week and 2 interceptions, like people were still going to say
expectations were going to be high no matter
people
what.
were going to say that the Jaguars failed in that. But now we're starting to see like exactly, especially with that extra muscle put on, exactly
the
what
why.
He can look like at the NFL level.
Yeah.
All right, so I want people to hear from Parker Washington, who joined the drill this morning on the other side about his contract. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Tom Bush family of dealership studio. The action. The motion.
You see that acceleration.
Feel the active emotion of live play-by-play.
It's amazing how much energy.
On 1010XL.
Hey, I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Actually, make it 8.
Hey, Mom. Yep, I'm walking home now. Mom, I'm trying to cross, but I don't think this driver sees me. No, they're driving too fast. Mom!
Speeding catches up with you. Early, on time, a little late, just get there safely. A message from the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for a remix on the original Chick-fil-A sandwich? The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back for a limited time only this summer. It's a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite created with the Chick-fil-A chicken, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese. The sandwich combines your favorite flavors with a new twist. Available for a limited time only, so stop by and enjoy the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich at Chick-fil-A today.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
What 2 vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Rock the Country, a festival for the people. Coming to the Florida Horse Park in Ocala, Florida, August 28th and 29th, 2026, with Brooks and Dunn, and Blake Shelton, John Party, plus Lauren Alina, Shenandoah, Mark Chestnut, and many more. Get your tickets now at rockthecountry.com.
We have bigger rolls of carpet, hardwood too, laminates, hot area rocks for you. At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Our prices are low, 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 low.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Don't delay, we'll put it in next day.
At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man. Y'all them sees now, you hear? At the Carpet Man, at the Carpet Man.
Visit one of our mega flooring stores or go to carpetman.biz or
call 838-6705. The Carpet Man.
Ace Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
It feels like every home services company in Jacksonville has been bought out by some big out-of-town firm, but not Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. We're still locally owned, still right here in Northeast Florida. That means no call centers and no corporate runaround when you call Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Just experienced pros who live here, work here, and stand behind every job. From simple leaks to full pipe relining, you're getting real solutions from a team that actually cares about the community we all live and work in. Make the superior choice when you need a plumber. Request an estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all of our clients, CPAs, attorneys, bankers, and real estate agents who refer us business every day. If you're ready to purchase, build, or refinance your home, call Trustline Mortgage, your hometown mortgage source since 1989. Call us today at 904-381-LOAN, trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS 246445.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
From the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures 904-641-1010, it's insane to me that Travis Hunter is one of the most polarizing players in the league. Media refuses to put video or pictures of him on social media actually making plays. I'm assuming this means national media because I know obviously not just 1010 staffers, but everyone, every beat reporter that's out there tries to get as much Travis Hunter as they can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got ESPN's Mike DeRocco and the Times Union's Gary Smits. Literally, they are tracking every single snap that he takes on offense and defense. But for people who don't know, we cannot take video once they get to a certain period. And typically, that is once individual drills are over, we can't really film 7-on-7 and definitely not 11-on-11. So if you're talking about national media not being able to access that, it's because we're not allowed to post to do that. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's get it to Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
We saw another contract extension yesterday in the wide receiver world with Chris Olave. The Saints signed him for a 4-year extension worth up to $132 million, including $90 million guaranteed. I didn't realize Chris Olave has had 3 in 4 years, 3 of his seasons above 1,000 yards. I don't know if maybe it's like the Saints have kind of been like irrelevant and the quarterback situation's been weird. So I knew he was a good quarterback, a good wide receiver.
He can probably
obviously.
play quarterback too.
Probably. I knew he was a good wide receiver, obviously. And I know if you play fantasy football, he's in the talks every year of, do you get Olave? But then it's always the quarterback conversation that goes back to that. But somebody posted, and which this is kind of the note for my tangent today. So Adam Schefter posted after this was released, which by the way is $33 million per year for Olave. But Ohio State wide receiver contracts over the last 2 seasons include Jackson Smith and Jigba, 4 years, $168.6 million. Chris Olave, 4 years, $132 million. Garrett Wilson, 4 years, $130 million. Terry McLaurin, 3 years, $97 million.
I saw the same stat and I was like, man, no one really talks about Ohio State being wide receiver but certainly those deals would make you think that. It was like Alabama for a while, LSU obviously as well. But yeah, I feel like people forget that Garrett Wilson and Terry McLaurin went to Ohio State. Like they're thinking definitely of JSN and Olave and then the up and coming Jeremiah Smith. But yeah, those contracts will make you want to go to Ohio State. Not that I like Ohio State, but they'll make you want to go
if
there.
you need help recruiting up there, which I feel like you don't have to probably, but that's definitely something you can have in your back pocket of look at these wide receiver contracts in the NFL of guys that have come out of Ohio State and gone to play in the NFL.
I totally agree. And that leads us perfectly to our conversation with, well, not ours, but Jeff and Dan's conversation with Parker Washington this morning on the drill. And I always appreciate hearing from Parker. And right now, obviously, super interesting because he's a guy that we thought would get a contract extension before training camp began and certainly before the season begins. There's still time for that. But James Gladstone told us earlier in the spring after the season ended that they are already working on contract extensions for Brenton Strange and Parker Washington. Brenton Strange got his. Obviously, Trayvon Walker got his. We think the hard part, or at least our conversations on this show, is what figure are you offering, Parker? Jacoby got 3 years, $60 million, so $20 million a year. But we saw the Packers receiver Christian Watson get way more than that. And so where exactly do they feel like Parker Washington should be? Well, here is number 11 himself on that contract noise.
Just as always, it's a part of the business.
Sure.
It's part of the game. So, I mean, like you talk about being professional, that's when the pros come out. You find out who they truly are and if they can continue to work even with communication and noise coming out. So I feel like for me, it's like I said, it's everything that's happened to me. It's happened because of the work and the practice. And that's what it's all about for me. Just coming out here, just continuing to get better and just staying ready for my opportunities and just making the most of those.
Well, he certainly does that at every single practice. You're going to see him pop. And I thought it was funny, Taylor. Travis Hunter was asked about, are you closer with the DBs? Not phrased exactly like this, but do the DBs feel like you're one of them, or what about the wide receivers kind of thing, right? Splitting the time. And when he talked about the receivers, he's like, BT and I were always working with one another, and like we look up to obviously Jacoby and Parker. And he's like, but we can't be in the building earlier than Parker. Like Parker is basically turning the alarm off and then turning the alarm back on. Like he's always here. And it makes sense. I don't think it's just because Parker's going into a contract year.
Yeah.
I think Parker is wired like that he wants to be elite. And even though he wasn't drafted until the 6th round, he always believed that's where he could be. And by the way, since we'll bring it full circle, his sister is a scout in the Bears organization.
Yeah. I think that with Parker, and we've talked about it on this show in the sense, and he just said it when taking those opportunities, and every time he's been given an opportunity for anything, he's shined. And you talk about it in his career here. Someone gets injured and you have to see more Parker. Parker stepped up into play. And it's big shoes at times that he's had to fill, and he's come in and played really well. And seasons when, even bad seasons, you go back to a couple years ago, and it was just kind of Trevor's hurt and things are kind of messy, and Christian Kirk gets hurt and Evan Ingram gets hurt and everyone's hurt, and Parker comes in, and you're like, oh, this guy can play so many different roles on the offense that it's so nice to see that. And then last year it was a situation where the offense, they were trying to find their way and things are going on. Travis Hunter gets hurt and Jacoby comes here, and it's just like all of a sudden here's Parker Washington again. He's like, I'm here. BT's struggling a little bit. And so anytime that, and I that's why I love Parker Washington, because anytime you've needed him, he's stepped up, and I think that's part of, you talk about being a 6th round pick. Maybe he feels he has more to prove in that sense, which a lot of guys who are drafted later do feel like that. There's guys like an Amon-Ra can list every single player who was drafted, every wide receiver who was drafted before them. There's a little chip on the shoulder if if you're not drafted a little bit higher, and maybe you felt like you could. And I don't know, I've never talked to Parker about that, if he felt he should have been in the 3rd round or whatever the conversation may be, but he plays like it. He plays like, I can be a top receiver in the NFL. And every single year we've seen this progress from him, and we've seen him get better at every single skill when it comes to route running, when it comes to catching the ball, when it comes to that yards after contact. He's that complete receiver. He's not the biggest guy, but he'll go out and do anything you ask him to do.
Absolutely. I feel like they're all so competitive. Like Liam Coen was asked about BJ Green. We'll play that cut a little bit later. And he's like, he wants to be that guy where I have to ask him to like come off the field because he's so disruptive, right?
Take a break.
Like I just love that stuff. And it's fun to watch those young guys, whether it's the rookies or the 2nd-year guys. Certainly it's been fun to watch the linebacking competition between Ventrell Miller and Branson Combs. Ventrell got a pick yesterday. Branson got one today. Yeah. And I feel like they both are earning playing time. Obviously Ventrell was in a very, thick battle with Devin Lloyd last year, deep battle, because it went right up until the season began. And so I feel like Ventrell's going to get playing time and Branson's going to get playing time, but we'll see how it all works out. All right, I want to give some lunch away, right?
Yeah, we have free lunch to Chick-fil-A, free lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 3, you get free lunch to Chick-fil-A today. Make sure you get that peach milkshake, about a month left, that it will be on the menu because it's just here for summertime, but made with that ice cream dessert. Real peaches, absolutely delicious, and a perfect pairing for a chicken sandwich.
Caller number 3, a.k.a. a nod to Jacoby Myers
there you go,
today.
Jacoby.
Free lunch for Jacoby, too. Why not? All right, I want to keep it on the NFL. When we return, go around the league a little bit. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Tom Bush family of dealership studio.
Open it, please. What's the code?
1010XL. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Imagine this. You and your buddies outside enjoying the warm weather. The grill is fired up, steaks are sizzling, drinks in hand, and you're all hanging out around your brand new outdoor kitchen. CSS Fireplaces in Outdoor Living can make it happen. From custom outdoor kitchens to fireplaces, fire pits, and more. They bring your backyard dreams to life. You dream it, they build it. Visit CSSFireplaces.com and make your backyard the place everyone wants to be this season.
Hi,
I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $4,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank Performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. One winner gets round-trip airfare for 2, 4 nights hotel, and 2 tickets to the Jags game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 6/29 to 8/27/26. Get official rules and details at everbank.com/London rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A. Member FDIC.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious? Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us. 641-1010.
Nothing says All-American like a great meal and a great deal. MyGate Rewards members. Grab any roller grill favorite, Lay's brand chips, and an ice cold Pepsi or Gatorade, all for just $5.50. The All-American meal deal only at Gate. See store for details.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. If dinner seems expensive, come grab a pizza that's hot, fresh, and affordable. Feed the whole family without spending a ton. Tony D's New York Pizza. Easy, quick, and always a good call.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
I'm Jared Justice with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Zero Res. Offensive coordinator Grant Udinsky will be the play caller for all of the Jaguars' preseason games. He previously called the offense in last year's final preseason game. Jacksonville Jaguars training camp takes a break tomorrow, but don't worry, the drill and Jaguars Day will be back at camp live all next week. Season tickets for all the games at Everbank this season are available at jaguars.com. It's 92 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I feel like I'm at a college football game right now with that drumming going on. I love it. Taylor Dahl is here. RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. RJ, what are you playing for us right now?
You don't remember this? Nelly Furtado, Timberland, Give It To Me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to just wait a little bit. Yeah. I feel like the very beginning of songs, if they're a little bit more obscure, I got no
Takes you a
chance.
sec,
And
yeah.
then as soon as
There's
they start
other ones
singing,
where
I'm like,
you-
oh, got it.
And then there's some songs where it's like one note.
Oh, yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
like, I already know what this is.
Yeah, pretty much every Chris Stapleton song. I just need to hear one note. That's it. And I got it. All right, let's go around the league a little bit. We've been talking a ton of Jaguars, and we'll get back to Jaguars in just a little bit. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield said disappointed and starting to feel a little bit disrespected. So he was wanting, he told ESPN he was wanting to be in the $50 million per year club. And obviously the Bucs didn't feel like that's where he deserves to be. How much do you think Baker Mayfield should make per year? When we've got guys like Jacoby Brissett making now $15 million per year, and you've got the likes of like a Dak Prescott making $60 million per year.
So I thought I had seen they were going to give him 50, but they were only going to give him 2 years, and he wanted a longer contract, is one of the reports that I saw. And so, but I do think that, I mean, I love Baker Mayfield. I think that we've talked so much. Him and Sam Darnold are the two names we talk about when it comes to like. Yep. Being moved around and having 5 billion offensive coordinators and then finding a spot that's right for you and it really working. And then this last year, I don't think people realized how well he was playing early on before like the wheels started falling off and injuries were happening around the team. And then it kind of started catching up. But he was a top 3 quarterback in the first half of the season last year. And then everything just kind of spiraled out when other pieces started kind of getting hurt and other things were going on. And obviously the offensive play caller got fired, and there's a lot of things to that. And so, but I think that Baker Mayfield he has an arm. He's not the biggest guy. So that's what, I don't know if that's something that they look at. I would not think that because he's a tough guy. Like he'll run people over. You see that almost to sometimes a fault where it's like, Baker, just chill a minute. You don't have to tackle anybody. And you've seen those moments, but he has a good arm. He can move around. He's mobile. We see the accuracy has gotten better throughout his career. Honestly, even that year with the Browns, you go back and you look and you're like, oh, he was actually a pretty decent quarterback early on in his career. The Browns just kind of screwed that up and don't know how to handle
him.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't
so
be in this
the
situation.
report says Mayfield told ESPN that the Bucs offered him a 2-year deal that was pretty far from putting him in the $50 million per year club. So that's why I think whether it was 35, whether it was 38, whatever it might have been, and I would imagine that it wasn't anywhere close to that $50 million per year. And look, if I'm him, I'm not going to demand it. Like he's now obviously going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He's going to bet on himself once
Someone
again.
will pay him.
He's played on so many different teams at this point, had so many different offensive coordinators, so many different playbooks that he's been through. He's proven that he can be a really good quarterback. Is he top 5? Probably not.
No.
But he's also over 30. So if I'm him and they came to me and said, we'll give you somewhere around $40 million per year, I'd probably take that, even if it was for 2 years. Most quarterbacks want longer deals, and I can understand that. But especially because you want stability, which he hasn't had
some
in a long
security
time.
there,
Yeah. But if it was a more like 30 million and he feels like he should be at 50, then they're just not going to be able to meet in the middle at that point in time.
And for him, he may have to compromise in the sense of, do you want a 4-5 year deal? And would you take a little less for that? Or if someone offered you 2, but for 45, would you be willing to do that? And that's what Baker may have to make that decision. Like, what's more important to you, the longer contract, a little bit more stability for the long term, or the money in a year or 2?
Take the money and run, Baker.
Yeah. And that's what I was looking at some of the contracts. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, the most, he makes 64 a year. But the guys that make 50 or more, it starts with Jalen Hurts, who makes 51, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. Those are the quarterbacks that are at 50 under. The ones that are just below that is a Deshaun Watson. That's a whole other story. Daniel Jones, obviously, who just had gotten his contract, Sam Darnold, and then Baker Mayfield right now with this current contract is at 33. So I could see him being like, wanting close to that, but I think more so if I were him, I would maybe lower it a little bit and be like, let me take around that 40, 43, 44 and be around that Daniel Jones contract if you can get the years that you want.
Yeah, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And I know he played well last season before he got hurt here in Jacksonville, but still, Baker has shown that he can work with virtually any weapons and still be talented and successful. When it comes to the 49ers, Deebo Samuel is rejoining them on a 1-year deal up to $7 million. And the reason for that, Ricky Pearsall, like we mentioned earlier, he has a PCL injury that dates back to last season. And so the status right now for him is is up in the air. I'm going to be really upset for Ricky if he's not able to play at all this season after everything that he's been through to this point in time.
Yeah, what a rough start to an NFL career in the sense of obviously there was a shooting and then he comes back and he's looking really good and then gets injured and then now all of a sudden you get injured in camp again. And so that's really unfortunate. And you saw against the Jags, like that one catch that he made along the sideline shows you what type of player that he can be. And I think
the catch he had at Florida, that one-handed catch.
Oh, that was insane. I remember everybody posting that one for a while. It was like memed for a while because it was such a good catch. Deebo Samuel, I mean, you have familiarity obviously with that. He was in Washington last year, had 727 yards, 5 touchdowns in Washington last year.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Especially because Jaden Daniels got hurt midway through the season too.
Yeah. And when he was in San Fran, the last couple years, the last year wasn't as good, but the year before that, 892 and 7, 632 and 2, but then 1,400, a little over 1,406 touchdowns. If you were to tell, which I think the expectations with him is not going to be like, you're going to have a 1,400-yard season, more so go get 700, 800 yards and 6, 7 touchdowns, and I think you'd be good with that.
And you have to wonder at this point in Christian Kirk's career, is he able to play as many snaps as he's been, throughout the majority? And I feel like we've even seen a report already that he got nicked up in one of the first practices. And so I feel like they can't just assume that he's going to be healthy all season. I know he dealt with injuries at the Texans, although what wide receiver didn't deal with injuries?
Well, and Kittle has a injury history.
Right.
Christian McCaffrey has injury. That's a team that has a lot of guys. Brock Purdy is coming off an injury.
Yeah. And then finally, when it comes to CBS analyst Tony Romo, CBS put out the statement today that Romo is on leave from his role until further notice. J.J. Watt will join Jim Nantz and Tracy Wolfson as the CBS Sports lead NFL team during Romo's absence. They will release the remainder of their CBS roster at a later date. But good for J.J. Watt. Obviously, Tony Romo, I think most people assumed that a suspension would be coming just because
they said
of that
suspicions
video.
of I was like, I think he was under the influence.
If he wasn't, then
what
was
happening.
There are other drugs at play, honestly. And so you'd rather him be drinking and driving. I'm not saying that, but if he can curtail that, and it's not other substance abuse,
it's not like pills or something like that.
Correct.
You don't want to hear that,
right?
And that's what. Look, I think Tony Romo, people in the beginning, those first few years he was doing it. I can't even remember how long he's been doing it now. But it was so fresh, and because he was so fresh out of the game, he was so good at kind of predicting and being like, oh, this is going to happen. That's kind of trickled off, I feel like. And I had a feeling it was going to, because the whole way that he called games was leaning into that side of it. Like, let me show you what my eyes would have seen in this thing. The farther you're away from that game, the farther you're going to understand how some of these offenses work. And you've kind of seen that the last couple years where it hasn't been as fun to listen to for me as it was maybe in the beginning.
He started with CBS in 2017.
Whoa.
It's been almost 10 years. I would have guessed 3 or 4.
That's why I said a few years, and then I was like, has he been doing it for a few years? Yes.
He has been
10 years. Wow.
Jim Nantz for a long time, that's for sure. All right, more to do on the other side. A little college football note before we get it back to the Jaguars. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
From the Tom Bush family of dealership studios,
Helmets and Heels,
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Do you know how hard it is to find a decent man in this town?
We're men. The Drill.
We are men.
Weekday mornings on 1010XL.
We are men.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Looking for a real career with great pay and full benefits? Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. As a growing, family-owned company that cares about its employees, they're hiring lawn technicians in the Jacksonville area. No experience required. This is a salaried position with top industry pay, full benefits, a 401k match, and paid training. Apply today at JulingtonCreekPestControl.com. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Equal opportunity employer.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Honda always has cool stuff, Greg. But talk about the side-by-side of what Pioneer has.
I tell you, the all-new Pioneer, which is their flagship model, all redesigned this year, comes with a cab for heat and AC, so if you want to stay a little cool on those hot summer days when you're out riding, this is the ticket.
And you can have the stereo, full sound.
You name it, we got it. Wheels, tires, stereos, lights, heat and AC, we're your people.
Go check it out in the showroom. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make sure your property is ready. Weak, damaged, or overgrown trees can become a serious hazard when storms move in. Trust the experts at Lucas Tree Service with over 45 years of experience for professional tree trimming, removal, and storm preparation. Don't wait until a storm is on its way. Schedule your tree assessment today at lucastreeservice.com.
Take time out with Patrick Young.
Patrick Young here, a.k.a. the Big PY. And you know I love my Florida Gators.
Friday morning at 8:30 with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and Coen Flowers on 1010XL.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I can tell you, in this financial climate, or really any, it's never been more important to make your money work for you, which is why I'll recommend Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management Team at South State Bank. Financial planning is based on trust, because it's so important. You can trust the South State team. They offer the best combination of sophisticated wealth management strategies with a truly personal approach. That will help you meet your financial goals. Stop by your local South State branch and ask them to connect you with Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management Team. You'll be glad you did. South State Bank, member FDIC.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter? I came right over.
It's my water, Jason. Smell this.
Yeesh.
That came out of my tap, Jason. I'm worried there's a lot more in there than just H and 2 and O.
Well, yeah. In Jacksonville, we have some of the hardest water in Florida. There's calcium carbonate in there and magnesium sulfate and...
I'm sorry, calcium... what now?
It's the same stuff that makes those cool stalactites in caves.
Well, it's making my shower all powdery, my tap's all crusty, and caves make me claustrophobic.
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing. And our water treatment experts will do a free water quality test. We'll check for minerals, bacteria, anything that might make your water smelly or damage your plumbing or appliances.
And if it's bad, you can fix it?
Your glasses will come out cleaner, your shampoo will lather better.
I like a good lather, Jason.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Try to knock me off my feet, still standing with more money than I came with.
So the reason I wanted RJ to play this song by Shabuzi featuring Gunna, this song is called High Noon. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be this year's college football anthem on ESPN.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
Every time you watch Game Day, you're going to hear this song, probably multiple times per show.
Had you already heard the song, or did they release it for college football?
It's a good question. I had not heard the song, but I saw that it was the anthem today, so obviously I listened to it a couple times. There is a dirty version, or an explicit version, I should say, and then a clean version. Of course, we were playing the clean version.
Clean version.
But yeah, I kind of like it. It's got like
nice.
a little bit of like a Wild West feel to it a little bit.
I can feel, especially SEC college football vibes, just the South. Like it has that vibe of, I can picture waking up on Saturday morning and hearing that and being like, oh, it's time for college football. It definitely brings that energy.
Yeah, I like it. And we've had, like, for SEC, they usually pick a country artist. I feel like it's been Lainey Wilson and Luke Combs, and the two guys that have the song about the horse, Big and Rich. There we go. It's been them before too. And then there's a song out right now by an artist named Shane Prophet, and it's just become famous recently. Comes with the Country maybe is one of it. Either way, it mentions SEC in the song. And so I was like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to pick that one.
Yeah.
But I looked today to see if the SEC has decided yet. And
they haven't said anything.
Not that I've seen. Yeah. But with that being said, let's swerve into Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
All right. So when it comes to college football, as I'm sure you saw, Taylor Dahl, Kurt Signetti speaking at Big Ten Media Days this week. The Big Ten is the best league in football. We don't run a hype machine up here in the Midwest. We believe everything's earned, not given. And when we fall short, we say we fell short. We don't cry a river, whine, and complain. And that's why we are the best. So obviously taking a huge shot at the SEC. And at this point in time, I don't blame Kurt Signetti. He took over the worst program in all of college football and turned it completely around and I'm sure he expects to win the Big Ten again this year. There's probably like a little bit of underlying, I can't believe everyone's picking Ohio State and Oregon ahead of us when we just won the national championship. But either way, he's not going to whine and complain about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's very Kurt Signetti. That's what we've known from the moment he was like the whole Google me and the little comments from the start that's the type of coach he is. And he leans into that. And some people will love it. Some people will hate it. I'm sure if you're a fan of Indiana, you love that. You love your coach defending your conference, defending your team, and kind of having that energy. And all the arguments, I know the back and forth between the Big Ten and SEC have just gotten so crazy when you talk about when it comes to how much are we going to expand the college football playoff, and oh no, you need to do this and you need to do this. But it's just gotten a little crazy. But it has been a lot of the talks coming out of the SEC media days were a lot of stuff kind of bashing the Big Ten. And so I'm sure the Big Ten's like, well, let us take this opportunity to kind of give it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think Kurt Signetti is well within his rights to throw shade at the SEC because the Big Ten has won the last 3. Now, if you want to compare the last 25 years, obviously the Big Ten doesn't want to necessarily get into that argument.
Yeah.
And the ACC would say, hey, we're in that mix too, between Clemson and FSU. But there's just too much of this right now. I would much prefer these conference commissioners to get up to the podium and say, we want to work together.
Yeah.
It may not be.
We're here for college football.
Correct. It may not be 24 teams is the right answer, but we're all going to get in the conference room together or be on Zoom, what have you. And we're going to have these conversations about what works best for all of us and how do we make the sport better, because it's supposed to be all about the student athletes.
Yeah.
Focus more on athlete, or emphasis more on athlete, I should say. But what works best for everyone.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not
at
it at all. It's what can I get for me? By the way, the name of the Shane Prophet song, Long Live Country.
Okay.
The name of the album comes with the country. I was like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, I love the mention of SEC football there. But look, it's going to be decided on the field, and it may not be the SEC or the Big Ten that win it this year, because obviously Miami came really close last year, and we've seen a few other teams here and there, try and compete for the championship from, I guess, the Big 12. I'm not even going to mention the group of 5, but it's all going to be decided on the field. And that part, kind of like the whole Jaguars-Bears thing right now, like all these are words.
Yeah.
And the college football playoff, how many teams each get in from each of those two conferences, and then who ends up standing with the trophy, that's going to be the interesting part.
Yeah, and that's I think the SEC in the sense, because we have talked about a ton. The last 3, there hasn't even been an SEC team in the national championship, let alone winning. And so that's what the Big Ten is holding on to. I saw one of the quotes from Signetti too, talking about like how are they going to handle being the hunted this year, which is also kind of like, it kind of feels like what Liam Coen was saying in a sense too. But he just said, Signetti said, I bought a bigger gun. And so I thought that was funny. So pretty much like having that mindset of we're ready for that, which good for him, because I think you have to lean into that. You have to have the confidence of, we just won the national championship. We went to the college football playoff also the year before. I've done this with multiple quarterbacks at this point in time. So it's not just like this underlying, okay, well, you had Fernando Mendoza and that's why. And so I think he has the confidence of being able to probably bring in and develop another quarterback. His mindset is a little different than some of the other ones. We talk about the split of, it's a lot of portal and a lot of older players, obviously, that won that national championship. So does that continue is what's going to be interesting for me to watch when it comes to Indiana, because does he start to shift that a little bit? We've had the conversations with Dabo being opposite in the sense of recruiting and barely hitting the portal. And this last year, he was like, all right, they hit the portal a little bit, brought a few guys in. Does that continue? Do each of these coaches kind of have to be like, okay, this isn't the way I want to do it, but to keep up, I have to do it this way?
And would you describe Kurt Cignetti as confident or arrogant if you had to choose one? If you can't say, well, yeah, he's both. He's got confidence. And so some people
I think he has a lot of ego. I think he does.
Yeah,
but cool. Like, I mean, go ahead and do it. You've proved it in this last year. And I think that when you go now, if you go out and all of a sudden things fall apart this year, that ego can fall apart very quickly too. And that's part of that, because Indiana was this program that wasn't talked about forever. And then all of a sudden you're sitting up and you are the one being hunted by all these other college football teams. And they're looking at you about how you've built your program and what can we take from what Indiana did and built, and which is crazy. I know. It's crazy that
5
that's the
years
point we're
ago,
at.
right?
Yeah.
Like I would have laughed at someone who said Miami and Indiana is going to play for the national championship. And nothing against Miami. It's just 5 years ago before Mario Cristobal, right when he got there. Yeah. The coaches prior to him didn't have Miami where they wanted to be and where they were used to being at that point in time. But the good part for college football fans, Notre Dame's a little different because you've been pretty good for the last 15 years or so, maybe more than that. But for football fans of Florida and Florida State and other teams that are down a little bit right now, it can turn around so quickly if you have the right guy. And I understand the difference between Florida and Florida State right now. Florida fans are saying, look at the excitement on the horizon with John Sumrall. Yeah, we don't know for sure, but he's able to recruit pretty well. It seems like he's a pretty good coach at each stop, that he's been to previously. And for Florida State fans, if they don't like Mike Norvell and the results that they've seen other than a couple of good seasons under him, it's like, no, I want a new guy in place. And I don't want to be hamstrung with a coach that can't even get us over the hump on a year where you're bringing in decent transfer quarterbacks. So I understand the difference, but again, it can turn around very quickly. Remember back when everyone wanted Deion Sanders at Florida State? And then not that he's been terrible at Colorado. He had a Heisman Trophy.
Hasn't panned out how you thought it would.
But he's not bringing national championships to Colorado.
Yeah. And then there's been all sorts of drama about the way he recruits. Like he says, I don't go to their houses. They need to come to me. And that type of stuff it works if you're winning. But if you're not, people are like, what are you doing? Like clearly this process that you have isn't working. And to the point of, the conferences being penned against each other at this point in time between all of them, you would probably say, but mainly right now we're talking about the Big Ten and the SEC. And I played the clip the other day of Tim Tebow talking about like you need the rivalries in college football. That's what college football is built on, and that's what you love. And so it's fun sometimes if it's an opposing team that you don't like for Gators fans. If you're talking about Florida State being bad, it's funny and you can mock them and it's a good time. But college football's better when Florida State and Florida are good, and Georgia's good, and Miami's good, and Notre Dame's good, and now you have Texas A&M, and I think all of those things. That's what Tebow's kind of speaking on. You don't want to lose those rivalries, but also it's when they're good, it brings the betterment of all of college football. And as a college football fan, that's what you want ultimately.
Yeah, you want those rivalry games to be two top 10 teams playing against each other. We had the game of the century between Alabama and LSU many years ago, and I think that one ended like 9-6 or something. And we were all kind of like, wait a minute. That's not what we had been, the game had been billed to be. But yeah, when Florida Georgia's between two top 10 teams, or Florida Florida State, obviously Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, you're already excited about every Saturday in college football. There aren't enough of them, but that's what also makes it special. But to have it brought to that next level is something that's so incredibly exciting. And the fan bases are just so passionate. There's all that pageantry for sure. All right. A guy that wasn't in college football too long ago, BJ Green. I mentioned that Liam Coen talked about him after practice today. And here is Liam on BJ Green himself wanting to take a big step up in year 2.
He's so spot on. We all believe that there's something in there that is going to continue to show itself and reveal itself. And he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. He knows what he's doing more than he ever did. And I've just been so impressed with him specifically in the run game. I mean, that's when we start throwing it more and we get into more of those situations, and especially preseason games when we can see him like we did against Miami last year, show up in a good way. But it's been setting edges in the run game and using his hands. Like, he's a guy that uses the technique. I'm not saying to a T, but he does. Like, he'll do exactly what you say. You say, go run through that wall. He's going to go, which one? But he uses the proper technique and fundamentals, and he's violent. And that's all really what you can ask for as a coach.
That violent word that sticks out a lot because one of the first things that Liam Coen said coming here, which has always stuck out to me, is when he used that word savages and like you want a team of savages. And I love that. And you've seen what they've brought in here when it comes to the physicality and how they like to play very physical. You saw it from the get-go last year. We were like, whoa, this is going to be.
Even on Wednesday, we were looking around like they're going to be this physical without pads on?
You're on day 1 and 2 and you're already seeing guys on the ground, which we've talked about that. And Liam Coen was like, you don't really want that to happen. But the physicality is a big thing of how this team is built. We've talked about the speed, the physicality, just kind of the mindset of the players and how they fit so well with Coach Camp and Coach Leah and Coach Coen. And I remember Josh Hines Allen was talking about BJ Green also. And there's a lot of good things being said. Now you have to go play and you want to see this. This is one of the biggest conversations we've had here is having other guys that can rush the passer and get those sack numbers because you just haven't seen enough of those. And even Trayvon's hurt. And you need somebody, if an injury happens, to come in that you are confident that can come in and get some sacks and maybe let Trayvon sit if he is injured, not have to force him out there if you're confident that a BJ Green can come out and get a few sacks for a couple games for you, or just in that rotation. How fun can it be if you have a guy you trust and you can slide Trayvon in and then get somebody like a BJ Green on the outside
or
and
Strigal,
yeah. And so I think that's what is going to be fun about this camp is seeing that other and what the rotation looks like when it comes to the guys rushing the passer. And you're not seeing them sack Trevor Lawrence, but there was a couple today that would have been sacks that were like, you can see.
Yeah. Why don't they put flags on the quarterbacks during this time
so
of
they can
training
just
camp so then the guys can be like, all right, got it. That would have been a sack. And then, you throw in Wesley Williams and Zach Durfee, the other draft picks as well. Yeah. JHA was saying just how feisty BJ Green is and how competitive he is. And if Josh is saying someone's competitive, then that they are.
Yeah.
And look, the trash talking, that's one of the things that I love about being at practice is getting to hear that banter between these guys on the offense and defense. And that pushes each other. That pushes one another. And I think the coaches too, they're fully into that.
Oh, yeah.
too.
You were both of them yelling on each side of the field.
Yeah, these coaches definitely.
Penalty on you.
Yeah, they're very talkative. And I like that. I like hearing just the noises that is football practice, right? Like without pads, those are the noises that
that's
we're going to
you take in right now.
Yeah, and so again, Sunday there will be another practice. They're going to be in shells only on Sunday, and then Monday is full pads. And so if you can attend the practice on Monday, I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah, the first padded day is going to be good.
They get after it, and you're going to hear it loud and clear. And then Tuesday they'll be in pads as well, and then Wednesday will be the next day off according to the schedule. And I did confirm Shabuzi did not write High Noon as a custom jingle for game day. It was already on his soundtrack, but his album, The Outlaw, Sherry Lee, and Other Western Tales. So that's why it kind of sounded a little Western.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a little different than a Shabuzi, like ones that I guess I'm used to hearing.
Sure.
It's more dancey, some of them that I've heard.
Yeah. He's usually a little bit more poppy, I'd say. And that one's a little different. But yeah, that song is called High Noon, and it will be this year's ESPN's college football anthem. One person on the text line, Design My Lifetime Enclosures, they recommended Hank Williams Jr., A Country Boy Can Survive for the SEC. Yes, I get it, but I think they like newer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't love it. I've seen Hank Williams Jr. in concert, and I absolutely loved it there at the Amp. But just saying, I think they like a little bit newer of songs. All right, the golden moment awaits on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Tom Bush family of dealership studio. Take Jacksonville with you.
There's no place like home.
Listen to 1010XL away from home.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices.
The birth of a child is a time of joy, but when complications during delivery lead to injury or death, families are left with lifelong problems. If you believe a medical mistake contributed to a birth injury, protect yourself and your family by understanding your legal options. Founded in Jacksonville, Edwards & Raggets helps families evaluate medical negligence claims. No fees unless you recover damages. Call 904-INJURED or visit 904injured.com.
Edwards & Raggets, offices Jacksonville.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Written by Bowden Iron Associates.
Tom McMahon is here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here. Don't wait for the first storm warning. The fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems when high winds come around. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to backyards. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah,
We did the fence.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank Performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. One winner gets round-trip airfare for 2, 4 nights hotel, and 2 tickets to the Jags game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 6/29 to 8/27/26. Get official rules and details at everbank.com/London Rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A. Member FDIC.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
For every special occasion, Coen Flowers can deliver a beautiful floral arrangement with a click, a call, or a visit to one of their beautiful showrooms. This is E.T., and when you need to show someone you love them, remember, think Coen Flowers.
I-9 Sports is year-round. Fun for kids 3 and up. From North Jacksonville to Fleming Island, Neptune Beach to Orange Park, I-9 Sports makes it convenient for you with their 1-day-per-week commitment with practice before the game. It's easy to fit it into your schedule. Log on to i9sports.com and register now for fall and winter. Flag football, hoops, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and multi-sport. There's something for every youngster in North Florida. Fall and winter registration open right now at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at ua234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
By the way, today's Friday. That's
It
my
is Friday,
golden
by the
moment. Our weeks, so once training camp begins, it's all discombobulated with our schedules and everything. But yeah, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Yes, Tom is off. He'll be back on Monday.
Yeah, he's enjoying a little birthday celebration, so good for Tommy. I think that this time of year, once we get here and we talk about it, like it feels like the off season's so long, and we're like, oh, we just want football back. We want football back. And then OTAs hit, and you're like, okay, we're getting closer, but it's still 100 days. And then all of a sudden now we're about to head into week 2 of training camp already. And then pretty soon we're going to be at these joint practices. And that's when we're going to get, I think, the most information we're going to get out of this offseason. But that's exciting. And there's a little extra storylines in it, obviously, with a Devin Lloyd with the Panthers and the whole Bucks thing anyways. And so I do think that I don't know how much we're going to expect to see a lot of the starters in the preseason games. So these joint practices, I think we're going to take a lot out of. But it does feel like once those hit, we're going to be it's a go almost.
Yeah, it's definitely almost here, because if you look at the calendar, obviously tomorrow's August 1st.
Yeah.
And that means that we have actual college football regular season games on Saturday, August 29th.
Yeah.
And then obviously preseason games prior to that. And then you flip the calendar and that's September. You're in the meat of it. You've got week 1 of college football the first week. And and Labor Day, obviously that first week of September, and then the NFL season begins in earnest the following week. So that it does feel like the 6 weeks of the NFL downtime, the dead period, goes by much slower than the 6 weeks from
everything
now
else.
until the regular season
before
begins.
and after.
Exactly. Another golden moment. Liam Coen, after practice on Wednesday, was asked about Parker Washington and can he separate the fact that he hasn't gotten a contract extension with what he wants to do on the field.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it today. He had a really nice little option route today, and the guy knows himself really well, I think. Like, he knows his strengths and weaknesses, and is really intentional about trying to work on those things. The guy spends a lot of time on his body. I mean, he really puts a lot of time into it, and I think he's ready to take another step in his progression of his career. He's a guy that I know, Trevor, obviously they have a rapport of working together for a number of years. If you look at him as a wideout on our team, I mean, Trevor's probably thrown to him and Strange the most, right, in his, of guys that are on our roster currently. So, really confident in him and really excited to see what he can do for us.
Yeah, I think that I thought of this. I saw this quote at first because someone just put the quote on Twitter, and that it popped out at that point in time because the person was pretty much saying, and he's a fantasy guy, so his world is like, what more can Liam Coen tell you? He gushes about Parker Washington all the time. They want him to be a big part of this offense, and he's more so speaking to, I think, fantasy football people of draft Parker Washington because I think you can expect a lot of good things out of him, the way that Liam Coen can use him all over the field, and there's a lot of weapons. That's a lot of the conversation we've had on this. Fantasy people are having that conversation a lot of like, do you draft Jacoby? Do you draft BTJ? Do you draft Strange? Do you draft, like that? It's a hard conversation to have.
Tootin versus McQuinn versus C-Rod,
how does that look? And so the fantasy world is a kind of a separate world in that
100%.
sense, but at the same time, those two are connected. I think when you talk about the type of player Parker Washington is, Liam Coen consistently and almost every single day finds something good to say about Parker Washington without being asked. It's just like, hey, let me talk about Parker. And I think that's a good sign. And that's what hopefully we see this contract be able to get done, because I think both parts do want that to happen. Now, you look out for yourself in a sense too, and that's where some of the other stuff comes in. If the player feels like they deserve a little bit more or a longer contract, and the team's like, we just can't, like we have a bunch of contracts this offseason coming up that we've got to figure out also. And so I hope they figure something out, because Parker Washington's 100% somebody you want on your football team.
Yeah, he can do it all, right? Like, he may not have the full blaring speed of a Travis Hunter and a Brian Thomas Jr., or maybe even a Bashal Tootin. Like, he may not be quite that fast. But on the field, he creates separation, and he virtually makes every single catch. Like, we said that Parker had 4 drops last year. I can't really recall the drops. Maybe they weren't in crucial
moments. Pivotal moments,
as some other ones were. But even today, and yesterday, some of the catches that he makes, the ball's not perfect. And you know what? That's not really ever going to be the case.
Yeah.
There are going to be things that happen in every game that maybe have the quarterback, if a rusher's coming right at his face, the ball might not be perfect coming out of his hands. That's not just Trevor. That's all quarterbacks, right? And so, yes, that's why we talk about the timing.
Or the
so
slight
important.
finger touches it and it gets off
Sure,
track
there's
a little
so
bit.
many different things that can absolutely happen. And so when the ball's not in the perfect spot, but you're still able to make the catch, that's when your quarterback trusts you.
Yeah.
And speaking
wants to go to you.
Exactly. And wants to go to you. Yeah. By the way, 1010XL has a fantasy podcast now, and we always have a fantasy guide. So if you're in that world, make sure you pay attention to the fantasy guide, because
Trent's done a great job.
Absolutely. We as a show are not going to lean heavily into fantasy.
The fantasy world, yeah.
We're going to talk much more about what we see as far as X's and O's and what the coaches' decisions are and things like that. But for fantasy people, and there are, I know, a ton of you out there.
Oh, yeah. A
check
lot of
out
good information.
The 1010XL fantasy podcast.
Which, and ironically enough, he's going through and doing the different divisions. And we recorded the NFC North yesterday, so there's going to be a lot of Bears talk on the episode this week. But the conversation, obviously, more so, even more like Colston or Luther, the same conversations of that. But we do talk the whole entire NFC North and guys to kind of steer clear from or trust into. And he's going through each division throughout the NFL to just kind of give it that insight of breaking down each division and who to like. But he does a great job. A lot of time spent on doing it. Mike Dempsey's been on it, Tony Smith, Hacker, and myself. So it's in a lot of episodes to go too. I know people's drafts will be coming up soon. So
Yes, it is almost that time. We were talking to Gus Logue at practice the other day, and they're doing a destination.
I know. I was like, that sounds so fun.
Thing.
He's like kind of like 2-hour draft in a boys trip is what it is.
I love it. It's like a cabin in the woods in the mountains. And I was like, make sure it has Wi-Fi, though. You're going to need that for your fantasy draft. All right. We were just talking about the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. What does his head coach think of Trevor Lawrence's 3 practices in training camp so far?
Day one was not, his best or our best as a receiving group, as a crew. I thought yesterday was very sharp. Thought he did some of the throws he made yesterday were legitimate, like big time throws that, you're really excited about seeing. I thought there was some things in the red zone today that he did really well. And I think there's a couple clips that we can learn from in terms of just how fast things happen down there. And for like a bigger dude, something we're just working on is like some of the routes that a concept maybe that you run in the red zone that you also run up the field, that the footwork up the field, maybe like 3 steps in the gun or hitch, it has to be a different footwork in the red zone. So like those were some things that came up a little bit of how fast it happens down in the red area. And with such limited inventory of red zone concepts a lot of what we were running was things that we were also running up the field. So a couple of those things came up, but in terms of running the show, the operation, and also accuracy and putting the ball on the guys and spreading it out, I think he's seeing it really well right now.
Yeah, 2 good days back to back.
He looked really good today.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple other notes. Eric Armstead had a vet rest day. I would not be surprised if we start to see that a little bit more for some of the older guys. We haven't seen Patrick McCary do everything in training camp so far, but also he is, a guy that I don't think he's going to miss anything by missing out on parts of training camp. I think the younger guys, that's certainly more important. I feel like Foye Oluokun, they're going to give him like some plays off.
Yeah.
Maybe not a whole day off, but certainly some plays off, especially as they want to develop those younger guys, which hopefully Jack Kaiser can rejoin the team earlier rather than later. But yeah, just a few other notes from today's training camp. And I wanted to mention Tanner Koziel. We heard from him earlier since he joined Jaguars today. His spike after he caught that touchdown. It was like 20 feet up. I feel like he even surprised himself on that.
He popped back up and he was looking in the sky.
Seriously, I was like, I hope we got that on film. Somebody. All right, 1 segment to go here on Helmets and Heels. It's 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels from the Tom Bush family of dealership studio. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. It's the little things like a peach milkshake on a warm day that makes summer sweet. And now you can head to your local Chick-fil-A and enjoy a favorite summer treat again. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, this refreshing milkshake features Chick-fil-A ice cream and peaches. It's the perfect cold treat to enjoy outside on a warm day or with friends and family after dinner. And it's here for just a limited time, so swing by your local Chick-fil-A and treat yourself today.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates
Friday.
What's up, guys? It's official. The Dude Perfect Squad Games Tour is coming to a city near you. 22 cities across the U.S.,
including yours. Sunday, August 2nd in Jacksonville, Florida at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena.
Brand new tour, brand new battle, bigger and better than ever.
Dude Perfect in Jacksonville on August 2nd.
Squad Games is officially coming into arenas.
Tickets and information at dudeperfect.com/tour.
The 2 best words in sports, Game 7.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all of our clients, CPAs, attorneys, bankers, and real estate agents who refer us business every day. If you're ready to purchase, build, or refinance your home, call Trustline Mortgage, your hometown mortgage source since 1989. Call us today at 904-381-LOAN, trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS, 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS, 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS, 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS, 246445. 888-848-5445.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, blocking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Follow Houston's Meats on social for updated weekly specials.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate King.
The two most important factors behind a great garage floor coating are the preparation and the application.
So we prepare every floor with high-performance diamond grinding pads. But just ugly diamonds, right, Brendan? If we find any nice ones, I could use some crown jewels.
Sorry, Chester. Our special grinding pads use diamonds that are too ugly for jewelry.
But they create the perfect surface to bind with our multi-layer polymer coating for years of durable performance.
You'll have to pick out jewelry on your own time, Your Highness.
The term is Your Majesty, Brendan, but I'll let it go this time.
Perfect preparation?
Check. Expert application?
Check. A gorgeous new floor that sparkles like a diamond in your garage? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great.
Checkmate. Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Hope Tom is having a great birthday weekend. He'll be back with us on Monday after seeing practice Sunday and the first padded practice on Monday. I can't believe it was a week ago that I was on a boat scalloping.
I know.
That week went by so fast.
Are the scallops gone?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Long gone.
We had enough for dinner one night, and so we had them on Tuesday night. Brian made a green curry, which was delicious with the scallops. And then we had just a tiny amount for him to fry up another night, and so just like an appetizer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my mom makes the best fried scallops, or fries the best scallops, I should say. And I think it's because you get off the boat and you clean them, or you clean them on the boat, and then just depending on where you want to shuck them. And then once you get back, you take a quick shower, and then you have fried scallops as your appetizer. You're like, all my hard work just paid off, and they're so fresh and so delicious.
Delicious. So one of our interns, Connor, who's been out at camp too, he was scalloping last weekend too, he said. Yeah. I was like, Lauren was scalloping too. I was like, were you in Steenhatchee? And he said no. He said a different name.
There's quite a few different places. You can go a little farther west. Friends of ours go to like Port St. Joe. That's where we went when I was a baby.
Okay.
And then...
Oh, that's where my cousin lives.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, they can scallop. Yeah. And then there's places more like Crystal River. You can go there. There's Cedar Key. There's all sorts of places. It's just more people.
It's all the Gulf?
It's all Gulf. Okay. Yes, absolutely. And then I read that there are some scallops like off of the New England coast, which I had never heard about that. I wonder how different those taste. Yeah. But yeah, these are just obviously
got the clams up there.
Yeah, definitely the clams, which you prefer.
I do. I love clams.
Yeah. But also wanted to mention, since Tom's not here, Dad Bods plays on Sunday 3 to 7 at Monkey's Uncle. And on Wednesday night, this past Wednesday night at Southern Swells, he was the MC for Hops That Help. And shout out to Steve and Cam Nix for putting on such a phenomenal event for the J Fund. And it was so cool to see. Tom got to sing with Jordan Fletcher playing guitar of his song Man What a Life, which RJ played the other day, that he wrote for his dad and then now his mom, now that she's passed away as well. But he did a fantastic job singing and emceeing as well. But yeah, they raised a ton of money. The silent auction was great. Taco Lou, of course, was great. Jordan Fletcher, who played music all night, was wonderful. And yeah, we had an absolutely fantastic time.
So you were telling, what's the Roscalusa?
Yes.
That's the songwriting thing,
That's
right?
the songwriters
So
festival,
is that Fletcher, was he a part of that?
He was not this year. maybe he has been in the past, but yeah, he definitely played some of the songs that he's written that have become pretty famous.
Popular.
And which I love. Yeah, but he
that
also
has to be
played
a cool feeling, honestly.
Yeah. But he also played a lot of original stuff, which I appreciate that too, because that's where you're really trying to make your mark on the music industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic night. If you've never been,
I know I need to go next year.
Oh my gosh, you've got to go.
Yeah.
It is one of those events that like makes you feel good too at the end of it, because
you're having a good time and it's like benefiting something. Which the J Fund, we talk about that with the wine gala too. They do a good job of you get to live both worlds. We have obviously the Radiothon every day, which is a little bit different feeling. Every day, every year, a little bit feeling of a day, because it does like there's moments where it can be really sad, but there's
really
also
emotional.
moments where you're like, wow, this is incredible. And you hear really good stories too. And so having something like that where you get to like hang out and listen to music, and then also
all
be
the
able
proceeds
to benefit.
go to the J Fund, which is really important. And they also did a little live auction. Tom was a little surprised; he wasn't expecting that. So that was amazing.
Can't catch him off guard.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to read this really quick. So we had talked about this when Cam Scatterbo did his little backflip that people were talking about. Yeah. So I guess the reporters asked him about it today, and so it said Cam Scatterbo on his backflips and the pushback from management. Obviously, I do some dumb things here and there, but I learned from it. Will I do a backflip again? Probably not.
Yeah, even his head coach is like, if you're going to do it, land it. You're going to terrify those of us out here. Speaking of, not really anything that we just talked about, but wanted to mention the Rays have a 3-game series against the White Sox beginning this
We're playing
evening.
the Yankees right now, the Cubs.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of hatred there. But yeah, the trade deadline coming up on Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating. The floodgates haven't opened yet. Yeah, does he land on another team? The Rays are 64-44. The White Sox are 57-51, and the Yankees are 3.5 back of the Rays in the AL East. So can you please take care of the Yankees, and we'll take care of the White Sox.
We're already losing 2-0, so hopefully we got to come back.
Man.
I know. So a lot of games, so hopefully we can come back. I was talking to Austin Lane at practice today. He's a Brewers fan, and so we were kind of just giving each other a hard time. He's like, you guys are worrying me a little bit. Like, you just won't go away. And I was like, well, you guys won't stop winning. Like, there's no chance. I mean, the Cubs were 5 games up at one point in time, and then now all of a sudden the Brewers have been 5-6 games ahead for the last 3 months, and it's so frustrating because they just don't stop winning. And now there's rumors they may get Skubal. So
yeah, I've heard he's going to the Dodgers. But
which that's also annoying.
Yeah, let's say hello to the lead.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Oh, and I forgot to mention the Rays ace Shane McClanahan had to go on IL with some back tightness, so you never want to see that. But Hayes Carline joins us now, fresh off of day 3 of training camp. Hayes, good stuff again today.
Yeah, it's exciting where they are. So we're certainly excited to break it all down. Everything will pretty much be Jaguars today, coming up on the lead. I had a chance to catch up with Brenton Strange.
Nice.
So we'll play that interview. Kai Stevens will join us at 4:35 to talk Jaguars. Mark Long will join us at 5:15 to talk Gators and Jaguars. And we've got a lot of great stuff that I'll be teeing Ryan O'Halloran up on to get to. There's, storylines galore so far through 3 days. So it's going to be high octane, up tempo. We're going to be running a 2-minute drill for 2 hours because we got a lot to get to.
Does Mark have FOMO? I know Mark well.
Yeah, I think he does. I mean, you can tell like it's bothering him that, he's not out there. And he can watch, at least and see press conferences. And obviously we talk. All of us talk a lot. So, he's up to speed. But, yeah, it's tough when you can't go out and watch it on your own. Right. So, yeah. But he'll give us his insights. And like I said, we're going to cover so much Jaguars today. Like, Mark is like so in touch with what Summerall's doing, and there's still so much unknown with the Gators. Like you have this small pocket of like standout players that he retained, and those guys, and we know Philo and Joan, we know the quarterback battle, but it's like for it being like my favorite team,
right?
There's 20 guys that are going to be starters. I have no idea who they are. Now part of that's just the age that we're in.
Yeah, and they
but
closed
it's still,
everything.
Yeah, and everything's closed. So it's good to have Mark. He can kind of tell us, watch out for this guy, not so much.
All right. Sounds good.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you,
Hayes.
guys.
Have a great weekend. Although we'll see you Sunday morning.
Yeah.
The weekend
We're
goes
camp.
short when training
When
camp
it's
practices are around us. All right. Once again, Dad Buds on Sunday. Monkeys 3 to 7 for those that want to come out.
I know
Great
Fan
job.
Cam said he'd be out there. So.
He sure did.
Yeah.
By the way, great job to the multimedia team already this week through 3 practices, and to all of our producers who have been cutting up sound. You guys have done a phenomenal job for us to bring everything that we can to the listening audience. For the vacationing Tom McManus, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday, but don't go anywhere.